As we rapidly approach the halfway stage of 2026, no peace deal between the US and Iran has materialized, despite claims from US officials that Iran had agreed to give up all enriched uranium and a complete nuclear program dismantlement. New Supreme Leader Khomeini ordered for all stockpiles to remain in the country. This is in the wake of a massive rebuild of the Iranian military. Iran has taken advantage of the ceasefire to restart drone production, plus replacement and recuperation of key defensive apparatus, plus warnings of what would occur if the US and or Israel attack them again. Iran has threatened a military conflict that will extend beyond the region, with assistance from the likes of Hezbollah and the use of untested modern military equipment to punish the potential aggressors, as well as cyber war capabilities that would hurt the US dearly. In this week alone, American forces conducted and launched unprovoked military strikes on sites in southern Iran in self-proclaimed self-defense strikes.
Fox News alert, we just carried out a new wave of strikes in Iran. The Pentagon confirming to Fox that U.S. forces struck 4 Iranian drones posing a threat to the Strait. CENTCOM also bombing an Iranian military site that was seconds away from launching a 5th drone.
U.S. forces have carried out strikes in southern Iran. The U.S. Central Command has confirmed the attack, saying it was in self-defense and that it was using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire.
Well, we have some breaking news that is coming in at this hour. The U.S. military says it has carried out new strikes overnight in Iran, targeting a military site and shooting down 4 Iranian one-way attack drones that posed a threat around the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran responded by shooting down a U.S. drone and forcing a Global Hawk surveillance drone and stealth fighter jet to retreat from Iranian airspace and launched an attack on a U.S. airbase in retaliation.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard says in response it's targeted the US airbase from where the attack near Bandar Abbas was launched. Kuwait, for its part, says it responded to missile and drone attacks without saying where the attacks had come from.
This is the 3rd time that the American and Iranian military forces are militarily engaged. But this is the first time that Iran is confirming since the beginning of the ceasefire that it has targeted a U.S. military airbase.
This blatant violation of the peace treaty shows the weakness in the U.S. and their inability to launch a full-blown war. It was nothing more than an attempted show of strength while in a compromised position. That was why Trump cancelled previous Iran strikes. When he pulled out of an attack date he set, as the US has depleted missiles, has lost scores of aircrafts, with most of the advanced drones destroyed and no longer in production, as well as devastated military assets in the Middle East, all contrary to the lies from Washington, D.C. and the lunatic running it. A war US fought on behalf of Israel but cannot afford anymore. The US cannot afford another war, which is why Trump called it off, as he doesn't have the cards. Iran does.
Donald Trump is not in a good bargaining position at the moment. He and his ally Benjamin Netanyahu have not achieved their war aims against Iran and have also created global chaos by provoking Iran to block the Strait of Hormuz. But in somewhat typical Trump style, the US president has just doubled down, insisting Gulf and Arab states that have been subject to the intense crossfire in a war started by the US and Israel now have to side with Israel as part of the deal to secure peace in the region. Challenging the English language in a lengthy Truth Social post, the president said he was mandatorily requesting that they immediately sign the Abraham Accords, agreements for closer ties with Israel. If they don't, he said, it shows bad intention. When this idea was presented to regional leaders in a phone call on Sunday, it was reported to have been met with such a long silence that Mr. Trump asked whether the leaders were all still on the line.
Iran won this war, dealing Israel and the US a strategic defeat. A war, former Defense Secretary Robert Gates warned us of. That pressure alone wouldn't be enough to topple the Iranian regime, as they're a resilient country with full Russian backing led by Islamic fanatics that will never surrender to the US or any aggressor. The US and Israel tried to topple the regime by killing its leaders, then attempted to place others in their stead. Most notably, former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who most believed to be dead.
After the opening blows of the war, this was back at the end of February, killed Iran's supreme leader and most of the other senior officials. A new report says Israel and the U.S. initially looked at a stunning figure to fill the power vacuum, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
Picture this. There's a man who once told the world he wanted to wipe Israel off the map. He spent years under surveillance, stripped of political relevance, locked out of elections by the very regime he once led. And then one day, America calls not to arrest him or sanction him, but to offer a crown. What a plot twist.
The most unlikely puppet in Iran. Stunning new details tonight breaking about a U.S.-Israeli plan to install the former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad back in power. He, of course, is a hardliner. Now, the New York Times is revealing the existence of this plan, which played out like an action movie, even reporting that Ahmadinejad himself was consulted about it. Now, Ahmadinejad was under house arrest as the war began. I mean, he was a hardliner who called for the end of Israel, but he had fallen out of favor with Iran's powerful regime circles, right? He was under house arrest. Now, then Ahmadinejad gets injured at an Israeli strike near his home on the first day of the war. I don't know if you remember that. I mean, wow, they're going for him too? No. The strike was designed to kill the Revolutionary Guard soldiers who were holding him under house arrest. And Ahmadinejad's current whereabouts now are unknown. He has not been heard from since that strike.
That failed, as with the war that will see Trump, as before, cower away in retreat in a world that is worsening with every passing day.
Every prophet walked this fire. Every truth cuts through the liar. Whole world watching slaughter daily. Only one says not on my watch. Plainly, we don't bow, we don't sell, we don't buy what you sell. The last wall standing, that's Iran. Every child buried, what they've done. The last wall standing, that's Iran. We don't bow to bow, we never run. They slaughter kids on a schedule, call it self-defense. 30 years since we build different, we don't break. Your people see $5 gas and your whole country shakes. This ain't Call of Duty, these mountains, these troops alive. We are waiting for them. Come test it, no survivors. If they wanna die for Epstein's list and Netanyahu's war, we got the welcome ready, body bags stacked at the door. You came for war, but got cooked instead. Iran flipped the script, left your whole team dead. You came for war, but got cooked instead. Weakest president ever, take that L and